Hi everyone, Ty here with Bonfire Collective. I am the marketing manager, and joining me for this edition of the brief is Teresa Baker, co-director of Outdoor Diversity Alliance and founder of the Insolidarity Project, and our founder at Bonfire, Eric Lambert. In this brief, we'll be diving into DEI in the outdoor industry amidst everything that's happening on a political scale. And so, Teresa, thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your story?
Sure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Teresa Baker, founder of the Outdoor CEO Diversity Pledge, which sits under the Insolidarity Project. I've been doing this work for fun. It's frustrating and ready to take it on. We have to continue applying pressure so that folks will start to feel more comfortable in this work. So yeah, I'm here for the long haul.
Very cool. And yeah, so let's just dive in. Which brands have you noticed doing consistently good work in the outdoor industry in
Um,
regards to DEI?
yeah, one company, it's a small company, but from the moment I met them, they have just been awesome. And that's Granite Gear. Granite Gear is a small company. They have Rob and David, and Rob is a character. Um, and I appreciate the work they do because they're not scared to speak on some hard topics. Over Instagram, once a month or twice a month, Rob would do something called a hot minute, where he would come on and bring the community in to discuss matters of diversity in the outdoors. So I appreciate his take on that. He has not backed away. So I appreciate the work that Granite Gear has done. Also, Brooks Running. Brooks is a forward-thinking company. They have been amazing in supporting RIDC, the Running Industry Diversity Coalition. They've been doing amazing work. Keen, who is one of our members at ODA, amazing doing with the community, and I appreciate them. And most last week, I was driving home from Big Sur, and I stopped in Monterey. And if you know Monterey and Carmel, it's a really exclusive area. And just walking around and ran into a brick and mortar, Columbia brick and mortar. And outside on their window for everyone to see was a huge sign that says, "We support diversity." And I had to go in and ask them about it. And they were like, yeah, this is just how we work. You know, we're not backing down. And for them to have something so outward facing on their commitment, I thought was awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. And everyone take note for brands that you should be supporting in these times.
That's it.
Um, yeah. And so out of the brands that you listed, what can we learn from these brands for future initiatives or for other brands that may be listening in?
Yeah, to not back down. You know, we're in a moment in this time right now, 2025, where there's so much pushback on this work and everything else that it's amazing to see the brands that are standing up to that pushback. And I think what we can learn is that we can do this work as a collective. We don't have to back down, especially privately held companies. That is the message that I think we can walk away with, is that there's always a way to do this work. We don't have to back down. We can do it. And in doing that, we can inspire others to step up. And for me, that's it. When we work as a collective, people are like, I want to be a part of that. Because what I've learned is that some people are afraid to do this work. They're scared they're going to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing and be called out by the public. At ODA, the reason we work so well is that we have each other's back. You know, if you have a marketing campaign that you want to test it out on us first. and get feedback before it goes out to the public. So for me, that is what we can continue to learn from one another in. And it's not just the outdoor industry, it's every industry, because we're all looking at one another. The tech industry is looking, outdoor industry, every industry is struggling right now. But if they see the work is continuing, then it makes it a little easier for them.
Yeah, I love that. And, just a strong reminder that, the work needs to be done, but you all are providing resources so that
Right.
brands can, succeed. And I'm really appreciative of the work that you all are doing on that front.
Thank you.
So in terms of, the current challenges that we're seeing, how is ODA currently navigating the challenges regarding the removal of DEI in our country?
Yeah, I don't really see it. I don't really see them as challenges. I see them as opportunities,
Love it.
because now is the time for people to shine sincerely. Um, it's about learning. For our ODA members, we brought in a legal team to talk through how we can move forward, because a lot of the pushback, if you pay attention, it's being overturned because they're not doing it right. You can't step on the Constitution and bar people from. It's an opportunity in my eyes. And when I tell people that I'm excited for this moment, they look at me and roll their eyes. But when I look at it, I'm like, all the allies and relationships I've built over the years, now is the time for them to step up and do this work. I feel that myself, along with others who have been working in this field of diversity, equity, and inclusion, we have held Zoom work to prepare people for this moment. So now it's like, let me sit back and see how well of a job I've done in preparing people for this moment. So I'm excited. And through ODA, I hope that we can continue to inspire people to step up and not be scared, to speak up and act up.
100%. I absolutely love that concept of these aren't challenges, these are opportunities. And you're totally right. And that's why, I'm super grateful that we're having this conversation with you now, just to, explore or navigate, these waters together and provide opportunities for those who might need to or might need the additional support in these DEI initiatives.
Absolutely.
Have there been any issues, discussions, or concerns with members that are currently partners of the ODA, or brands that are currently partners?
I knew there was going to be some fallout with ODA. Our name is Outdoor Diversity Alliance. And I thought we're going to have people fall off. And I am super excited to say we've only had one company fall off, and they were not an outdoor company. So it's awesome. It's awesome to see the commitment that's here. And what that speaks to is the confidence that we're building through ODA, that we don't have to do this as an individual company. We can do this as a collective. And I think the support that's there reinforces that, that people don't have to stand on their own, that they can have test marketing programs, sharing it with us first before it reaches the public, so they can get feedback on, yeah, this is amazing, or maybe you should consider adjusting this or whatever. That to me speaks volume. That says to me that all of us in this outdoor industry who have been working on these issues, we've had a profound effect on this industry to where they're sticking to this. And that is not to say things are perfect. We have a long way to go. But the fact that people are standing up and doing this work, and we continuously have people reach out to me personally and to ODA and say, help us do better, that's a positive sign to me.
100%. Um, so on those same notes then, or on that same track, what is something that's happening in the outdoor industry that nobody is talking about?
Oh, that no one is talking about. I think that leadership in the outdoor industry needs to be stronger. A lot of this work falls on marketing, the marketing aspect, or people other than leadership. I think leadership can take a harder role in this, speaking out publicly about it. Like I reached out to Tim Boyle at Columbia, and I was like, I won't hear from him. I know I won't hear from him. Literally the day after I sent him that email, Columbia reached out to me. And I'm like, even though he didn't personally reach out to me, Columbia responded to my email because he passed it along to someone. So I would love to see leadership speak up and be more clear on their intentions around this work, their commitment to this work, because employees will follow the lead of leadership. Whatever stance they take, their employees will adopt. So that is something that this industry needs to speak on. The role of leadership. If you are in leadership, lead. This is the moment, and that's not just for the outdoor industry. It's for every industry. I think we should speak more on the role of leadership in times like this.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great call out. Well, yeah, in terms of leadership then, I'd love to turn it over to you, Teresa, and see if you have any questions specifically for Eric.
Sure. Eric, I would love to know, what is the stance you all have taken on this work of diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Eric, you're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, first thing I would say is there's so much more we probably can be doing, and I'm looking forward to hearing a nugget or two from you at the end. But I do want to acknowledge that, and I also want to say that we all believe in diversity, equity, inclusion here. We have like a formal business statement around that. We've built a team that cares about this stuff, but it's like really it comes through in just living our values every day, right? And I think that there's some specific ways that I could talk about how that's happened, right? One thing is just working with organizations that also care about this stuff, whether it's adaptive sports or
right.
Tribally led protections on public lands, or getting kids who are like Title I students like outdoors to see what an experience outside can be like, and supporting them through free education. We work with the National Forest Foundation, and they have this Wood for Life program that donates firewood to indigenous communities. We have we've worked with other nonprofits that are more recreation focused, but have put a really strong inclusivity lens on their storytelling, things like that.
Yeah.
We like, in addition to Bonfire, part of my background, actually, Ty and I worked on Bluebird Backcountry very closely together. That entire program was to transform how we think about the industry, like the ski industry. And part of that was, hey, do we need millions of gallons of diesel being burned in order to go skiing? Do we need the barriers to entry for going and having a backcountry experience to be so high that like you have to have a mentor and all this education? So like trying to challenge norms a bit and bringing people into the fold. Like, I'm not somebody who cares about or wants to see gatekeeping in the outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've, through Bluebird, through the types of other partnerships we've had at Bonfire, and just like in my life, like in college, a big part of my aspiration was to like welcome more people into the outdoors, into climbing, things like that.
Yeah.
And then like we also have a financial commitment, right? So we are a 1% for the Planet member business, and some of the funds that we give as part of our 1% commitment go toward BIPOC leadership, marginalized communities on a global scale, and we're really proud of that work. And you mentioned marketing earlier, right? A lot of this falls to marketing. As a marketing agency, we have the ability to have a bit of influence with the brands that we work with. Like you said, like there's an opportunity here. Why are we not representing the people on a bigger scale that like should be using our gear, wearing the product, engaging in these conversations and dialogues? So there's really like there's a brand opportunity and brand positioning work that we try to weigh in on, and having these conversations, right? Like, you said leadership. I'm not sure I'm the leader on this topic, but the fact that we are seeing what's being torn down right now in the rest of the world, and wanting to say, hey, wait a minute, the outdoor industry has been very solid in wanting to work on this topic. Whether they've succeeded in that or not, I'm not sure, but we have made progress in the last 10 or 15 years, quite a bit. And now that's being challenged. And so speaking up, having this dialogue, figuring out how can we do better is maybe the number one thing that we're doing here at Bonfire. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on, as an organization that really needs people with experience in the industry, and people with experience in marketing, and people with experience in all these areas, like how can we, just like we want brands to welcome people into the outdoors, how can a marketing agency in the outdoor industry welcome people in? How can we get better connected? How can we do recruitment? How can we continue to deepen these conversations? I'd love to hear your ideas.
Yeah, I think the number one priority in all of this has to be to have fun. I think the outdoor industry has gotten away from the fun piece of the work, period. We've put so much pressure on ourselves that it's no longer fun. About 3 years ago, I started seeing women lead the outdoor industry who have worked in the outdoor industry for years. And when I would have conversations with them, they would simply say, it's not fun anymore. So we need to bring fun back to the outdoor industry. And we don't even have to have a conversation about diversity, equity, and inclusion if we're doing the work. Let's do the work. Let's show in action that we care about this. They may want to stop us from using those words, and that's fine. Let's do the work, because the work only falls under the acronym because we need a better definition. By this time, we know what it means. So let's get to work on implementing it. Have a diverse leadership group, have a diverse everything. Every department needs to be inclusive of ... And once we start doing that, that's the work. And then it will not feel like it's pressure. And that's what I would suggest to everyone is do the work and do away with the conversation. So you don't have to create a film that's about a person from an underrepresented community and tell the story of why you decided to do that. You just do it. Like you do stories about any other person in the outdoors who's kicking butt. You just tell the story of their awesomeness in the outdoors, and not a side story on, well, we decided to do this because they're from an underrepresented community. Do the work. That's what I would say to especially marketing companies is find a way to market inclusively without there being a storyline behind it. So that would be my advice.
That all makes sense. Yeah, I mean, do you have a couple of tips for operationalizing that, right? Like, we all care and believe in it, and we live that every day, like you're saying. Like, I do believe that that's happening, but it's not as intentional as it could be. So
Yeah.
Are there a couple ways you've seen that maybe others could learn from and we can learn from that help operationalize the values into the everyday?
Yeah, you said it. It has to be intentional. When you look across the table, who's sitting there? If they're all white and male or white and female, then you know you have work to do. And what bothers me more than anything is when I hear people say, well, people from underrepresented communities, they don't have the outdoor experience. That's bull. We've been here. It's not about bringing us to it. We've always been here, but we are not the images that you all put out there. So people assume that Black and brown people don't have skiing experience or hiking experience or running experience. We've been here. So it's up to you to put us out there without the story of why. Just put us out there so that people can grow accustomed to seeing different faces on the fronts of magazines, or when I click on your web page or your social media sites, I see us. And it's just about how amazing we are in addition to the other people you show. So that to me is the direction that marketing needs to take. Show us. And it sounds simple, and I've been watching. If anybody's been paying attention, it's me, to magazine covers. I see when I walk into a store, a brick and mortar, and I don't see me. First of all, I'm not a real athlete, so I don't expect to see me, but people who look like me on posters. I'm like, oh, well, we don't belong here. This isn't for us. So we come back into our own little groups and be kick-ass in those groups. And you guys are missing out on that financial support because you are not being inclusive of us. And it's not about removing other people. It's about building a longer table so that there can be more people at that table. And that is how we get there.
I love that analogy.
And have fun.
Yeah. Oh, we have fun around here. That part we got that part locked down.
That's it. That's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Teresa. Yeah, very well said. And I've got just a couple more questions here for you, and then we'll just do a quick wrap up. But what are your top three priorities on the DEI front within the outdoor industry currently?
For me, it's collaboration. And I know the bottom line on companies is money, money, money. I get that. But let's find one or two projects a year where several brands can get together and collaborate on a project. There are so many stories out there that can be told. Why not get 3 or 4 brands together and work collectively on a film that talks about a specific subject? So for me, it's collaboration and speaking up. I get calls so often from employees saying, I want to speak out about this, but my employer is against that. Give people the opportunity to use their voice. So That's huge with me, is speaking up. And the third one I would say is actually just doing the work. Do the work. Don't point to, oh, I belong to ODA, so I care about diversity. That's not caring about diversity. Or I belong to the CEO pledge, so that shows that I care. No, it doesn't. What shows is your action. So whatever you do, follow it up with action. We are watching. We may not comment all the time on your social media posts, but we are paying attention. And for those brands that are speaking up, that's where we spend our money. So let people speak up. Give them that opportunity to speak up and actually do the work and collaborate.
I love that. Yeah, super good priorities and initiatives. And, some of the takeaways that I've seen from, or that we've talked about in this discussion, obviously have fun is the biggest one.
Yes.
Just, I totally resonate with the whole, concept that some of these projects we work on, we lose sight of that fun. And then, the work isn't fun. And, then things like DEI and other initiatives get thrown to the wayside. So
Right.
loved that one. Yeah, do the work. Make sure it's intentional. That's huge. I mean, it's as simple as bringing somebody, like you said, to the table, having them work alongside, your white cis males and females. We deserve a spot at that table as well.
Right.
And then last takeaway on my side is, DEI starts with leadership. And how can we talk to these leaders and, have them engage? Obviously they're in a leadership position for a reason, and how can they be, an example of, strong DEI work, and how can that trickle down to the rest of their team? So those were 3 takeaways that I had from our discussion. Eric, what about you?
Yeah, and then the last thing you said about community and there's 2 parts to that. One is, hey, there's so many opportunities to collaborate on projects or have these conversations, right? And so as you begin engaging in those conversations and projects, you have the support of one another. And related to that is just the bigger idea of coming together, right? Like the power of an alliance, the power of a network, the power of everybody believing in this and sharing that as a value, not within an organization, but across organizations.
Right. Across the industry. And that's what I think all too often we're like, well, he or she is the leader. They should lead. It's everyone's responsibility. And I think that's why we are where we are currently in this country, is that everyone looks to one person to lead. And it's not that one person. We have voices. And if we are expressing our thoughts and sharing our nation, someone's going to hear you. And you have given them confidence to speak their truth. And that's what this work is about. Once one person stands up and says, this is a copycat industry. Once one person stands up and says something that everyone can agree with, or enough people can agree with, things start to change. So yes, it does fall on leadership to speak up, because you are giving, confidence to others to do the same. So yeah.
Awesome. And so Teresa, one last question before we wrap up here, but how can brands get involved with the Outdoor Diversity Alliance?
Yeah, support us, speak about us. Even if you decide it's not in my budget this year to become a member, share it on your social media feeds, share it on your LinkedIn page about who we are and the work we are doing. Reach out to us. And if you are in a financial position to join our membership, please do. You don't have to have all the answers. That's why we are an alliance. We're helping build that confidence along with the answers to some of your concerns. We have a business plan in place. We have a strategic plan in place. We have a BOA. That's where our in-person gathering is happening at BOA in Denver on April 1st. So we have people that are like, we don't know what to do. And it's amazing to see them doing the work when their initial input was, we don't know what to do. We don't know where to begin. But that is the magic of coming together. People learn as we grow. And I don't have all the answers. I go to other people often and say, hey, I need help with this. And that's why we're here, to help one another. So I would say go to our website, read over the strategic plan, the business plan, the manifesto, see the brands that have already joined in. Look at the Outdoor Industry Association and Kent, who's doing a good job with helping us build ODA. So learn about who we are, reach out. We're happy to hop on a call with folks and talk through what a membership with ODA is. But you don't have to have all the answers. Do the work scared. Just do it.
Teresa, thank you so much. As an Indigenous person in the outdoor industry, so much of what we talked about today resonates with me, and I'm just super grateful for everything that you're doing on a personal level and ODA on a larger scale to help with these DEI initiatives and help brands find their footing. And help with representation in the community as a whole. Thank you so much for your time. Eric, anything else that you would like to add?
No, it's great to finally meet you, and thanks for making time.
Absolutely.
Thank
you for your time and your commitment, Ty and Eric. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, I'll see you April 1st.
Cool. I'll send you the information. The board will be ecstatic that you'll be joining us. So I'll send you that information.
Sounds great.
Awesome.
Well, thank you both. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks.
Bye.